Well, we're here for Saturday. Welcome to Today at the Races, of course. Instead of Keith Fustel, we have the wonderful voice of Maryland, Dave Rodman. We've got 10 races for Saturday's card.
Yeah, carryovers were hit yesterday, right? Pick six
Yes.
and a high five. But looking at today's card, we might have a carryover somewhere because I think that a lot of contentious races today. Some good wagering races and some folks down for the big one handicapping tournament on the second floor. I know you're searching for prices. You might get them today here at Laurel Park.
And we are going to try and provide them for you. Track is fast and the turf is firm today. A little breezy out there today, Dave.
Yeah, a little breezy. Otherwise, I mean, that's like picture perfect sky.
Is.
And Jimmy McHugh took some pictures of that fall foliage. Sent them out this morning, and I think I'll try to post that later today on X.
Good, on X.
Yeah,
on
right.
X,
I'm
yes.
used to saying it now. Right.
Oh, good. I'm glad you've become accustomed to it. But let's carry things away here at the start of the races here in the early pick 5. Of course, this starts in claiming 16, which have never won 3, short on the turf. Dave, you have the number 9 on top, Pico de Oro. This is in the barn of Brittany Russell. Victor Carrasco takes the call.
Yeah, when first looking at the race, you can't overlook the inside pick and see glass, right? We both have this gelding in the mix, a convincing gate-to-wire winner. Just the way that he did it last time out points him out as a contender here. But down inside, he might face a little more speed pressure today, so went for kind of a logical horse. Off the pace here in Pico de Oro, who was second to Ignited last time out at Colonial Downs. That horse ran the top turf number in his career in 7 turf tries in beating Pico de Oro. I think he'll be perfectly placed in this spot. He can run on the lead, but I think he's probably just a little better right off the pace, and there's some targets to run to today. 1 pick and see glass, both have in the mix of the 6. Class Wizard, Trombetta Barnes, been heating up here, not only here but out of town the last 7 days. And comes back to Laurel Park where he's 3rd and just behind Pico de Oro. 2 races back, and number 8, Kobe Tough, takes a drop in here. The Keefe class drop is not usually a rewarding thing at the windows, but I got to respect the fact that he ran against John Hall, who is really, really going to be a nice turf horse, and a winner out of that race. Calming Storm, the runner-up, who was in the photo finish with John Hall, came back to win yesterday as the favorite later in the day on the turf.
Yes, absolutely. So there we have it, 9-1-6-8. A nice price underneath with Kobe Tough for Dave Rodman in race number 1. Kicking off that early pick 5. Now let's go to the early pick 4. Dave, you've gifted us with a ticket today. Let's see how you play it.
Yeah, a couple of horses spreading out in a little 10,000 filly and mare leg in the 4th race, 3rd leg of that pick 4, and then going a little deeper on the turf, the 2-year-old 6, 7, 8, and 11, with the 11 in there. What? How did that horse win? Kind of play. Explain that later. So we can throw that horse in as kind of a, price play, an upsetter. Bombed the final leg of the pick 4, hoping to blow up the pick 4 ticket there. Reasonable cost of $24. 3-5 with 5-6 with 3-6-7 with 6-7-8 11 with a 50-cent early pick 4.
And there we have it, $24 for Dave Rodman's early pick 4, and it begins in this maiden claiming 30,000. 5.5 now on the dirt for the straight 2-year-old fillies. Dave, you go with the number 3 in my exacta. This is Harmonizing. Hugh McMahon gets the blinkers on and keeps William Humphrey on as well.
Yeah, several fillies coming out of the Mama's Lino race at Pimlico. Going back and looking at the race, the running line you see on paper a little bit deceptive because this horse was kind of near the pace, wanted to be part of the pace, dropped back a little bit, continued willingly through the stretch. There's been a winner out of that race already, feeling so lucky. So the race has produced a winner. Hugh McMahon, the last 3 weeks at Laurel, 5 for 21, adding the blinkers on a filly that appeared maybe that she needs a little bit of focus, and so I think she'll run a little bit better today. But number 5, Independent, bred to win first out. Her Dam Scorned by Holy Bull was a first out winner, though only a 60 top in her career, and she's a half sister to a first out winner as well. So if you're looking for win early, I think Independent maybe fits the bill here for a barn that can win first out. The Salzman barn with Toledo aboard, hopping aboard independent. Irish War Cry filly. The 7, geez, Fireball, your top pick in here. Second to a 9-length winner there in Tina. I guess somebody had to be second, but I didn't really like a race at Timonium, but granted, right, and she was second to a lengthy winner last time out, so I think you got to use her in the mix. Her numbers kind of fit in there. And number 9, Confluence Lassie, third out for trainer Tim Keefe. Another horse out of the Mama's Lino race. Didn't do much at Pimlico, but ran okay at Timonium, showing speed, going to 2 turns in 3 turns. 2 turns in the debut at 6.5 at the Big T. Dueled in the race. Didn't show much of that lick in second out of Timonium. That Timonium race has produced a winner as well. Divine Magic came back to break maiden next start, although it was via disqualification, but ran a number that would be kind of competitive with this group. So 6.59.
3.579 for Dave Rodman there.
I had my program to the third race.
Got it. Well, let's get to the third race, and that maiden claiming 45, a mile and 16th on the turf for the 3, 4, and 5-year-old girls. And you do, as you mentioned, go with the number 6. And let's go ahead and take a look at Apple Shake from that effort last time out.
Right. With the blinkers on for trainer Diane Maurici, came from well back in the 10-horse field. In fact, was last early in the game, but Apple Shake got in the game late there. You see the black cap, I think, rolling there up at the inside, and oh man, puts in one heck of a run once he got clear of traffic and moved between horses.
There we go.
Wound up on the wrong side of the photo finish there, beaten only a neck. So a repeat of that race certainly I think would more than do here. Had to wait for room, altered course there. You saw an upper stretch, split rivals, and not quite in time for Apple Shake. I'm very concerned at number 5, Origami Girl might turn the corner here. First off the claim for Jorge Delgado. He's 27% in the winner's circle off the claim. Claims off a maker. That's a bold step, but doesn't really drop the horse. Claimed that filly from at Monmouth, and certainly I think is a factor, especially if she can stay a little closer to the pace today. Maybe he's going to get a little more speed into this filly here. I think those are the 2 principles there, the ones that I'm using there in the pick 4 sequence.
Yes, second leg in the pick 4 sequence, 6.593 for Dave Rodman there in race number 3. Let's go to the third leg in race number 4. This is a claiming 10,000, 7 furlongs on the dirt for the girls 3 and up, which have never won 3. You go with the number 7, Blame Catalaya. This is in the barn of Mariah Saray Jr., Grant Whitaker, getting back into the saddle with this one.
Couple of rider changes there. Xavier Perez on the 2 and put Geron Barbosa on the 5, Lola Flo. So Xavier on the 2 and Barbosa on the 5. Joya Del Sur is going to get a lot of play, I think, in this race. I didn't really like her first race there off the claim, so I thought she had no excuse, was wide. Yeah, I know that, but didn't really make much ground in the stretch. So I think in this level for fillies and mares, going to reach a little bit with Blame Catalaya in here. Gets Grant Whitaker in the saddle. Martina Rojas had 2 calls in the race as she went to Cocktail Dreaming, but Saray puts his kind of go-to price rider aboard in Grant Whitaker.
Right,
nothing wrong with that, right?
No, not at all.
She was a willing third, and Cocktail Dreaming beat her last time out, but only by 3/4 of a length. I don't think there's much between these two here, so between the 6 Cocktail Dreaming and the 7 Blame Catalaya, hoping for a good trip today. My sister Nancy is a big price on the morning line, was taken back a little bit last time out and then angled but no kick, but I think she's before has shown some early lick up front, so with Ladra Tafiki, Voodoo Mama Juju has no speed to the inside. Maybe Angel Cruz will say go with my sister Nancy and get her in the game a little bit early in the race, and she's a price. I mean, I didn't use her in the pick. I did, didn't I? Yeah, I used the 3 deep.
Yes.
Yeah, in the pick 3 sequence, 3, 6, and 7 is kind of my price play in the third leg there. 3, 6, and 7 in that leg, and that's the way I pick it, except in a different order.
That's the way Dave plays here in race number 4. Race number 5 is that last leg of the early pick 4, but also kicks off that rainbow pick 6. Of course, that pool hit yesterday. I gave a super cheap ticket today because it's one of those. Dave. It's one of those days where you either go wide or you go super short. So I go super short here in this race. Round Top and Arias at 12-1, just giving in a little fun price there. Race number 6, I go too deep with a lot of sense. The horse to essentially beat in that race and then vote them all out. I thought that this one is gearing up for the right type of positioning here today. Back on the dirt, single on Happy Cat in race number 7 in that mile turf affair at that claiming 40, but we will have some information on the number 6 Bassiano later on, Dave. And I go 5 wide in race number 8, a starter allowance, a mile. I think this is a tough. You get these tough horses at the $5,000 level. There are a couple that are dropping in, staying at the starter allowance. There's just a lot to play with a little bit, I think, in that race. So I also go with 2, 4, 6, 9 are my picks. I add in the 3 and then 2, 4 in race number 9, Moore's World and Clouds of White at a little bit. It's just even a bit of a wide open affair. If you're going to go wide, go wider in that race. And race number 10, 3 and 9, One Way Farrier and Minimo in that maiden claiming 30 in our nightcap of the day. But let's kick it back to race number 5. This is a maiden special weight turf affair. So we had the girls' day yesterday, Dave, and so we have the boys today. This is for the straight 2-year-olds, a mile and 16th. You have the number 6 on top. You also have the number 7, James the Great. So we're going to take a quick look at both of them together for the last effort for St. James the Great and the first time out for Round Top.
Yeah, they're out of the same race, September 2nd, 10th race at Colonial Downs. So we'll take a look at both of them. Round Top had pace, and so did St. James the Great. The eventual winner of this race, Fulmineo, might be a familiar name. Next out was second in the Grade 2 Pilgrim in New York. So the company was there. So Round Top showing speed right there at the 8th pole, and then a bit of a check and a little bit of check there for St. James the Great, who's adding blinkers on today. So St. James the Great continued on in that race to finish 5th, and then just beat at the wire actually for 5th. And second in that race was Round Top. But they both exit a race won by Fulmineo, so I think that classes them up a little bit in the spot. The blinkers go on St. James the Great today. So maybe a little bit more focus. Certainly was dropping back a bit when steadying there, but race before that faced Air Recruit, right?
Yes.
Won Laurel Futurity, right? So,
yes.
So good company for both Round Top, St. James the Great in today's 5th race. Number 8, Arias, you have this colt in the mix as well. And the blinkers come off.
Right.
He's been up front at Colonial twice. Blinkers come off. You know, I've said it 1,000 times. It's one of my favorite angles.
Yes.
Is blinkers coming off a speed horse.
And that's exactly why I went with it in my exacta. So you also have Brittany Russell with the blinkers off, being 6 for 8 in the money. So if this one keeps a price of 12-1, any kind of double digits, absolutely jump on this one.
Right. The maiden claimers back to maiden special weight, whereas Round Top, St. James the Great, I've been running in maiden special weight company. So blinkers off, but a step up for Arias. Number 11, and you have the horse in the mix too.
I do.
And we didn't even talk about it,
We
did
haven't. Should we touch on Neat for Rob Atras?
Half to a horse named Louder Than Bombs, a winner, $226,000 on the turf. 4 wins on the grass. Tossed the first effort at Kentucky Downs. Bumped hard break at the start. No bid. It's a total toss effort, I think. Had a slight hop in the air, then bumped, and then, well, it was pretty much all over for this colt. But he's stretching to a distance of ground. He's got the pedigree to win and win early. Louder Than Bombs ran a good number early in his career as well. Might be something, might be nothing, but at a price, it might be something for somebody in the contest today, or maybe in the final leg of the pick 4, I'm hoping, right?
Only one way to find out there in race at number 5 as Dave Rodman goes 6, 7, 8, 11, and I switch it around a different way in race number 5, and we will be right back after this commercial break to talk about the rest of Saturday's card. Thanks for your patience. Let's talk about the rest of Saturday's card here. Starting off in race number 6, our Jackpot Super High 5 race. This is a claiming 10,000 for the 3-year-olds and up, which have never won 2. A mile on the dirt. Scratching the 1 Spiritual Ghost. Scratching the 8 Improper. You go with number 5, Federal Offense for Marilyn McMullen. Forrest Boyce gets back to maybe a preferred distance here today.
Going a mile,
Yeah.
I think this horse is going to be a lot closer than the pace than you think. His last race, General News, who was dropping, gets out there, sets a quick pace, 22-4 and 46-2, hangs on to win over the closing Practical Sense. Race before that faced a horse named Disputed Claim, and that horse won by several lengths in an above par clocking, I thought, for non-winners of 2, and came back on Maryland Million Day to win.
At a price.
Well, decent price at 3-1 for trainer
mixed it
Mike
up.
Doralis off the claim in the starter handicap
There we go.
on Maryland Million Day, adding the blinkers, by the way, to Disputed Claim. But that's kind of been like a key race for me, looking for horses out of that.
Got it.
I've kind of followed him a little bit since that above par September 10th victory. So I think going a mile off a 6 furlong, 7 furlong race, where he really couldn't stay close to the pace and sustain early. He's going to be near the lead today, and I kind of like him here. He's going to be my value play.
And there we have it. You also go with a lot of sense. We need to touch on this horse because essentially this is the morning line horse. We both try and give value though for Corrales. Hernandez coming off of these 16 efforts. We get to see the lowest level we've seen this one in its lifetime.
Oh, tell me what he wants. Does he
Exactly.
want to sprint going 6? Does he want to sprint going 7? Does he want to go 2 turns on the turf? Does he want to sprint on the turf? Does he want to go 3 turns at Timonium? Does he want to go half mile at Timonium? They've done everything with this horse here. But in his points in his favor, he was 5th, beaten only a length, going the 2 turns here at Laurel Park Mile in his 16th, behind Pride of Peyton, who ran his best buyer number in winning that day on September the 16th. Again, like Federal Offense, it looks like he has absolutely no speed, but he may be a little bit closer today than his paper kind of indicates. And he's a factor, but I just thought for a short price I was going to try to go somewhere else.
You also go with the number 4 for fun and the number 3 underneath as well. As you go to 5, 2, 4, 3.
Long Live Now gets blinkers off out of that General News Practical Sense race 2 back. So if you like Federal Offense, maybe you got to like Long Live Now a little bit. And I don't know what happened last time other than the fact that he was wide, but he had a nightmare trip. I mean, a real nightmare trip. 2 back September 9th at Monmouth. If you get a chance, go look at that race. But can he run the race from Monmouth back in late August for the Gonzalez barn? That's the question. Well, he gets Barboza aboard.
We're going to find out an answer.
He gets Barboza aboard, and I think, if he breaks well, he's going to be right near the pace today.
5, 2, 4, 3 for Dave Rodman there in our Jackpot Super High 5 race. In race number 6, race number 7 is a claiming 40,000 going a mile on the turf for the 3-year-olds and up, which have never won 2. Dave, you go with the number 6, who I have underneath him, Bastiano. Let's take a look. Let's rewind the clocks back to that first win back on the 15th of April.
Yeah, he likes this track. 2 starts, maiden breaking score, and a 3rd place finish with a good effort here back in June. We'll turn back the clock to April 15th and show you his maiden score here at Laurel Park, out in the clear to the center of the course, carries on with it, runs a decent number, competitive to win. He beats Too Far East as West, has really kind of improved his form since then, right? There's Too Far East as West closing in on him, but he's run some bang-up races since then. So Bassano there, and it's Arnaud Delacour, and it's Victor Carrasco. Look at this together. Delacour, Carrasco, 13.44 the last 5 years, 30%, and a positive ROI for that trainer-jockey combination. That is strong. And he's getting class relief today. Smart Striker, Pelio, horses that he faced last time out, much better horses that have won more races. I mean, that allowance optional claiming race there back in just non-winners of 2. I think it's kind of like today's the day if he gets the clean trip.
Yes, correct. So you also go with the number 9, Jolly by Golly for Hammy Smith. Javian Toledo gets the call. Coming from these maybe from that listed stakes company. Doesn't get the best trip there last time out. I'm just hoping for better today.
He didn't get the best trip, and again didn't get the best trip against Look at Who. Too far east is west.
Yes.
The horse we just talked about earlier in relation to Bassanio, ran second to Bassanio, and improved since in that maiden race on video. The two opposites attract. And here's a horse who's going to be picking up some pieces and might put it all together today with a clean trip down to the inside from a barn that's been hot the last week or so, last 10 days or so, the Trombetta barn. The number 8, Sheriff Ronnie. I don't know. He's never been on the turf. But I'll tell you what, he was third behind Brother Conway sprinting on the dirt. That horse blew him away again at Delaware Park a few days ago.
Okay.
So I think he's got a sibling that's won on the grass. There wasn't like super fast or anything to write home about, or a stakes type horse or anything, but there's a little bit of turf in there, and he's in good form right now. And I saw the Brother Conway in there, and I had to kind of use him.
Key race for Dave Rodman there for his last pick as he goes 6-9-2-8 in race number 7. Race number 8 is a starter allowance for the 3-year-olds and up, going a mile on the dirt. This is where I go wide on my ticket. We do have a scratch of the 1 Ace 99, the 7 touch code. You go with the number 4 and Charge to Victory. Let's take a look at that last effort sprinting at the starter allowance.
And a nightmare trip it was. In the blue cap there is circled up by Phil, and he's sitting behind horses. And right here, would I bet? Oh, yeah. But the traffic quickly took its toll on him. He had to get out, right? He didn't want to go in there, so he gets out. But then a nice kick, as he usually does, when he kicks through the stretch, and a good kick to finish third there. The winner of the race, Grand Wiser, 23 starts, 10 wins, 4 seconds, and 4 thirds. And the 7-time winner, by the way, is the horse that beat him, Grand Wiser, in 2023. So one of the winningest horses around this year in Grand Wiser. I believe that was a pen shipper, if I'm not mistaken. I got to look at it. All right. So I think we're going to go Charge to Victory. Well, you're going, well, is there enough pace? Probably, right? Paradise Pride has one speed, and that's go from the beginning. And I think he's going to provide the pace. Brasstown has one speed, and that's go as well. So I'm hoping for those two to liven it up front and Charge to Victory to get that long run to the second wire finish working his favor.
48294, Dave Rodman in race at number 8 in that starter allowance. Let's get back to another claiming 40, which have never won 3. This is for the girls, for the 3-year-olds and up, going 5.5 on the turf. Dave, you have the number 7 on top. This is a gift of Gab for Mike Merriman, Georgie Ruiz. This is one that I have underneath that I really like at a 10-1 morning line.
I almost switched it this morning to your top pick, Holly. Almost. Okay. Clouds of White. This race is very, very tough. And I mean, maybe some other people see it with a lot more clarity than I do, but Clouds of White, first of all, in that nose victory August 13, has a perfect trip in beating Gatita Suave, Sweet Chugs, and she might get it again today. But I took a little shot in here with Gift of Gab, who didn't show a lot as beaten favorite last time out behind Future Is Now. That horse went to New York and got in a real dogfight for the lead in a quick pace just a couple of days ago up at Belmont Aqueduct meet in the Glen Cove. So second off a time away, and I'm looking for him hopefully to run his race from back in mid-June, which was kind of a surprise to me. I kept going back and like, how did he win this race? He was 6-1, but it was a strong effort, a strong number, and then he faced Coconut Cake. She faced Coconut Cake in the Jamila, and then came back to a little bit of redemption at Penn National in a 5-ace race. So I'm not convinced that she's a must-have the lead horse, because she looks like she can try a little bit from off the pace. I'm taking a stab here with a 7. 7-4-12 on the outside. New Rome. Now here's a filly that's on the improve, right? Don't look at the number, but go back and look at her last race and how she rated a lot more kindly for Dennis Araujo and Jose Corrales. Think they kind of figured out, know what it was. Maybe a change in the bit, change of something, maybe a new attitude with her. because, okay, yeah, we know she had speed in the turf, but she was taken way back under a firm rating hold, angled out, and surged on to victory. Number didn't come up strong, but she'll be kicking through the stretch as she repeats that race.
A new tool in the toolbox for New Rome, Dave. As you go 7, 4, 12 at 10, you wrap things up with Petria for Marco Salazar. Angel Cruz, 7-2 right now, comes off of the layoff, but what a nice performance in that last effort before that elongated spring and summer break.
Against New York breds, good effort, good number, has some speed maybe to mix it up early, but she's been off since April, and so I had to kind of look another way in the spot. And to me, that really, that was her best race ever, right?
Yes.
And she's coming off a time away from the races. So plenty of speed in here, maybe too much for my gift to Gab. I don't think she'll be on the lead, but I'm hoping she can settle a little bit.
We'll find out if she likes that better trip there as 7, 4, 12, 10 Dave Rodman goes in our penultimate race. And our finale here in race number 10 is a maiden claiming 30,000. 5.5 on the dirt now. For the straight 2-year-olds, Dave, you go with the number 5 on top. Buckin' Dreamer. This is in the barn, of course, of Hugh McMahon now for Carlos Lopez.
Yep, I got Buckin' Dreamer on top.
Yes.
I'm going to watch how I say that. Hugh McMahon barn. First time, I love this horse at Timonium. I remember picking this horse on the Timonium handicapping show.
Sure.
I think it might have been a final race of the meet, right? And things did not go right at all. This horse broke through the gate prior to the start. It was unruly. Then broke through the gate. It's a half mile, so you better break sharp. Well, he didn't. Then he got bumped and squeezed back, and it was pretty much a no-show race for him. But he's getting the stretch out. It's coming off a time away. It was scratched a couple of days ago for a maiden. I think it was a maiden $20,000 level for Hugh McMahon.
Yes,
and
it was.
puts him in for the 30 today. So I've got a feeling they might like him a little bit today. Hope he minds his business, but if he doesn't, well, there's a horse adding blinkers today, Minimo, who could be a danger.
Absolutely. Yeah. We do have a video on Minimo from that last effort out, not without the blinkers.
Yep, the lime green silks there. Now take a look at him at the top part of the screen here. He wanted to be part of the pace, right? He just got out kicked, kind of shuffled a little bit. There are 4 or 5 horses in the scramble for the early lead, and now maybe a 6 trying to join in there. And here he comes down the stretch at Laurel Park, and turning his head over to the grandstand to take a peek over on his left lead, kind of drifting into the rail. Now he's getting blinkers on today, so focus is the key. I think with those blinkers, he's going to try to flash that speed that he had. And look, he digs in, and he actually comes back and runs third when he kind of hopeless around the turn there. So the blinkers going on could be key. Kenny Cox won the last race yesterday, looking to win the last race today.
Let's see if he can do it there. 5, 3, 4, 2. You also go with the name of the game, and Abe's making waves. What great names underneath there in this finale, Dave.
Kings River, a 13-length winner when name of the game was third and was in the photo there for second. Drifted in a little bit and kind of on the left lead, just kind of learning this colt is. Another jump, he would have been second. So I thought it was a good effort for the name of the game.
There we have it, 5, 3, 4, 2 for Dave Rodman, and that wraps up our picks for all of the races. Let's dive in a little bit deeper in the lightning round. Now, Dave, you go with your value play in race number 6, our Jackpot Super High 5 race with Federal Offense, Marilyn McMullen, and Forrest Boyce.
Yeah, going a mile, coming off of races where he couldn't get up near the lead, and going a mile, though, I think he'll be closer to the pace. He's kind of like an even pace type horse. He'll be grinding it out there into that mile wire. I think he's a good price for a play. Federal Offense made him value play of the day and the top pick.
And your best bet of the day is the next race in race number 7 in the number 6 at Bastiano for Arnaud Delacour and Victor Carrasco.
Yeah, we gave you the stat, Arnaud Delacour, Victor Carrasco, but he's dropping in, gets class relief today, likes this track, and he's run against a horse who's made some noise on the turf this past summer, and Too Far East is West.
And there we have it, your best bet and your value play of the day. Wanted to touch on something that is not quite happening in Maryland, but about a bit of a Maryland horse. Post time running out of the state for the first time, and in first time in listed stakes, or not the first time in listed stakes company, clearly, but will be running in the 6th race at Keeneland in the Perryville. This is for the straight 3-year-olds going 7 furlongs on the dirt. Post time is at 3:40 p.m. Eastern time, and we touched on this race a little bit earlier. Really, 2 main horses to beat there in Verifying and Confidence Game. We were talking a little bit about Dr. Venkman, but just to give a recap of the conversation that we had a couple of days ago.
Yeah, well, I mean, we don't know. I mean, look at Dr. Venkman, right, running 91, 94 figures on the West Coast, but you look at the manner in which Post Time won his last race. I mean, he really wasn't even asked that much.
No,
and just rolled over horses, took kindly to some rating, got a little dirt kicked in his face, and the pace wasn't really to his advantage at Pimlico. I think he's going to show up today, closing in the stretch. I mean, Dr. Venkman, to me, seems to be the horse to beat in there. But, you know, if he can get a good run in there, who knows? Could be upset at Keeneland. It might be Post Time at Keeneland.
We'll get closer to our post time here in about a half an hour, and I will get offset so Dave can give you some more changes and scratches in about 30 seconds.
Good luck.